Hi, today is September 13th, I think, 2020. September 13th, 2020. Just wanted to touch base with you all and in the notion of personal finance. I wanted to just take a moment to put in your minds that healthcare in the future should be part of your, financial plan. And I don't know where you all are in your life, but as I'm in my lower 40s, so I have to, you have to plan for healthcare going forward in your life. When you're young, you don't really think about it, especially if you're healthy. But we've had a real life example in our family here the last week or so. We've had someone in our family that has gone up in years and incurred some medical expenses and just wasn't prepared for it. So I just wanted to make a mention to you all, for what it's worth. And again, I'm not an expert, but Medicare I think starts at age 65, maybe. I could be wrong, but if so you're on your own until 65, and even then, there's some things that Medicare doesn't cover, or you still have deductibles and other expenses that you're going to incur even when Medicare kicks in, such as travel back and forth to the hospital if you don't live near a hospital. I mean, at the very least, you're going to have to pay for your room and board. Like if your wife or your husband is in the hospital for a while and you need to stay at the Holiday Inn, next door to the hospital or whatever. I mean, that's serious cost that you're going to have to think about and plan for when you're thinking about putting money aside for the future. Anyway, what I would recommend to you is, if you're young and especially if you're self-employed or whatnot. If you're with an employer, I mean, it's just obvious. I mean, you need to opt into their health care, even if you have to pay a little bit. I mean, it's just silly not to. But if you're self-employed like I am, you need some health care coverage. You need some health insurance. You just do, because one event can bankrupt you. I mean, if you were to get in some type of bad accident or anything and have to get to the hospital for a few days, and then the bill is just pile up astronomically. We've had one of our friends who's 15 years younger than I am, who's recently had her appendix ruptured, and now she has no health insurance. She's working, but she just decided not to opt into their health care plan because she didn't want the $50 or $60 a week taken out of her check. So now, I mean, I'm just going to be conservative and say she's probably got $30,000 worth of medical bills now, and probably going to be more than that, and it's all finished up. So you need to think about your health care, and not only that, but you need to think about your long-term care. And there are different schools of thought on this, but I'm seeing more and more the importance of getting some type of long-term health care coverage. Nursing home coverage, I guess you call it, or long-term in-home care, because a lot of people are opting for in-home care now. I've seen personally in my family, my with one of my grandparents, in particular, one of my sets of grandparents. They had, I wouldn't say a lot of money saved up, but they're definitely comfortable, in their retirement as far as what they had set aside and with pensions coming in and just whatever. But when it was all said and done, and my granddaddy and my grandmother, needing in-home care and stuff like that, it just totally ate away at their at the money they had saved up. Luckily, they didn't run out by the time they went to heaven, but they had enough, But if it had gone on long, too much longer, they would have been totally out of money. My understanding. Anyway, so you really need to take into consideration how you're going to pay for your health care later on in life. And specifically right this minute, I'm talking about long-term care, which can, most men, they wind up going into the nursing home, sooner than their wife, and they may spend, between coming home, going to the nursing home. Sometimes it kind of varies back and forth before they're in the nursing home for good until they go to heaven. But this, the typical example was, that the husband and wife are in their elder years, and then, one of the common things that happens is the husband will need to go to the nursing home because they may have dementia or Alzheimer's, and stay in there for a couple years and just totally eat away at whatever nest egg that they have saved up, and then there's not a whole lot. And then when he passes away, and then his wife has to, she has whatever's left of the nest egg, and then eventually, the same thing will happen to her. And anyway, I think the responsible thing to do is, in my limited amount of experience and whatever I can recommend to you, is if you have a couple $1 million, no big deal, or if you plan on having a couple $1 million and you're, by the time you retire, if things are looking good for you to do that, then long-term care insurance may not be for you. But if you're teetering, if you look at your nest egg and you say, well, I've got enough to get by, well, maybe that'll do you fine if you don't get sick and have Alzheimer's for 3 or 4 years at the end of your life. But in that case, if you just have enough to scrape by along with your nest egg that you put together and your Social Security you think you might have coming in, stuff like that, you may want to spring for some long-term health care coverage, to kind of help with the nursing home bills, later on in life, so it doesn't totally eat away at your savings. And it's just something you don't want to have to deal with, especially, like, say for instance, if when I get to be 70 years old, 75 years old, and if I start to develop Alzheimer's and I'm not in my right mind, I'm not going to want my wife to have to figure out, oh God, the bank account's draining down. What do we do? Should we sell the house? Should we do this or that to make, I'm personally thinking about long-term health care insurance, and I've heard people like Dave Ramsey say that they don't, they recommend buying it when they turn, I think it's 60, if I remember right. because after 60, your chances of going into the nursing home really increase, and then also your price of coverage also increases pretty significantly. Anyway, I'm going to cut this right here, and we're going on to about 10 minutes now. I just, maybe my words can help somebody. If nothing else, just put the thought in your head about health insurance and long-term care insurance. You have to think about that stuff as you get older, and it's a reality, and you need to kind of figure out what your plan is. So I hope that helps. Hope y'all have a great day. It's beautiful outside. It's getting to be fall in another couple weeks. So, and I'm feeling that fall crisp air as I'm walking outside. Kind of got me excited this morning. So anyway, hope everybody has a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.